Okay, so as you can see, I just installed UFW, so we're going to figure this out together a little bit, but this is the uncomplicated firewall in Unix, and it's not hard, really. Um, so let's look at it. So we have enable, that's like the biggest thing I know, UFW enable, and default as well. So right now it's disabled. See, right now we're going to enable it, and then we're going to reload it every time we update the rules, essentially. So, cool. There we go. Notice how like the problem isn't that UFW isn't actually found, but that we didn't use sudo. That's such an annoying thing in Linux, but always just try sudo sometimes, especially with like admin stuff like this. Okay, so then we want to set some rules. We can default deny incoming. That would deny literally everything. The difference between deny and reject is when you deny it. Actually, I'm not sure which one's which, but one of them will send a message back to the person trying to connect or do whatever they're trying to do, start a session, whatever it is. It's gonna tell them that it's been rejected, so maybe that's rejected, or maybe it's going to tell them it's been denied, and the other one is just not going to tell them. So I think that's reject. So I think allow means it'll allow the session or whatever is trying to happen. Deny is to automatically deny it and tell them that they're being denied. And rejecting is dropping that packet and not even telling them that it's been denied, just dropping it. So that helps with port scanning, for example. You might want to reject things instead of denying so that you don't expose any vulnerabilities. Um, so we can sudo ufw default deny incoming, um, and that should work. And I think we should still have access to the internet. That shouldn't have disrupted our connection with anything. And I messed up that command there. So give me a moment. So yeah, we still have connection to the internet, and that shouldn't have disrupted anything. But all that means is that no one can connect to us now. So this is a very locked down thing, and you can do this on your personal computer, and that's actually, you should do this on your personal computer um, if you want to be safe. And then on servers, you're obviously going to have some rules. So you might have an SSH server. So SSH is port 22, is it? I don't know. Let's look it up. Firefox, is Firefox the default browser here? So we have does it work? Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I was doing some hacking stuff. You can ignore that. But let's see. So common ports that you might have in a so if you have a server up, right? Let's say you have a mail server, you have 25 up, or you have DNS or HTTP, right? HTTP is very common. Of course, it's SSH. That's also common if you have a Raspberry Pi or something else, or just so any server you want to remote into, really, you're gonna have SSH open. So what port is that? What port is SSH? And yeah, port 22. Cool. So, I mean, just for that, I'm going to close Firefox now and get that on my screen. So we're going to do UFW, sudo UFW allow incoming, port 22, and I hope that works. No, okay, allow, I don't know. Let's look at the syntax because, you know, I'm not going to memorize the syntax all the time. I'm just looking at this because y'all were talking about firewalls, so. And there's other ways to do this too, but I think this is the best way to learn it because once you have this down, you kind of understand what the syntax is, what the firewall is doing, and you can actually do some scripts with this, right? If you have a bash script, you can incorporate UFW into that so easily because it's all right here. It's all syntax. There's also a GUI version of this, and I'll show you that after I demo this a bit more. I just want to figure out how I was doing that one thing. So let's see, UFW. uh, let's try UFW allow. Incoming 22. Is that what I typed in before? From? Wrong number of arguments. From. Bad source address. Allow 22. What if we do that? Alright, cool. So I think that works. I think also you could do SSH. I think that just does the same thing. It might say duplicate if you do this, the rules. So sudo ufw show. Cool. That's not the right command. Sudo ufw status. I wonder. Now we're just gonna go through the commands. Oh yeah, there it is. Status. Cool. So yeah, it shows you. Um, now I have a duplicate. Well, actually I don't. One's TCP, and I'm not sure. This one's not very specific. And then this one is IP version 6. Is similar. So, but they look similar enough. You know, if you want to delete a rule, you definitely can as well. So if you look at the syntax, sorry, I'm small brain. UFW delete. Let's try 1. Okay, and then we can do like sudo UFW allow HTTPS if you have like an HTTPS server and HTTP as well. You know. So there are all your rules. Um, those are some basic commands, and then we're going to install GUFW. So it's the exact same app as you can see, but now there's a GUI. It makes it a bit easier to click around, you know, when you're first getting used to firewalls. So maybe it's good to show you this first, but I want to see you guys what you can do with firewalls once you get into it. Um, and I mean, really, scripting is gonna be your best friend when it comes to cybersecurity, you know. So automate everything. But here's the app, GUFW. As you can see, I started the app. This is what it looks like. This is the interface. It looks pretty nice now. It didn't used to always look this nice. Used to look really, really, really bad. It was like white and just I don't know. Not just the color. I mean like obviously the well, I guess you still can't like stretch anything, but maybe that's just Linux's downfall. But I know you can. No, but you can see that it's not like optimized or anything. It's not like the best app. It used to look a lot worse too. So here we can look at the rules, and as you can see, it's the same rules because all of these rules are being kept in a UFW config file somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where it is. You know, maybe you can find it. Oh, you know what? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it's possible you can find it. You can also add a rule. You know, pre-configure allow in, and it's the exact same syntax as you can see, but you can even put a category now if you want to make it more descriptive, I guess. And you could probably do that in UFW too. I just haven't really explored it. Application, you can even select specific applications that are probably installed on this machine. I mean, that's pretty specific. I'm not sure if Call of Duty is actually installed or Chocolate Doom. I've never really heard of Chocolate Doom, but that'd be interesting. And in advanced, I guess, you know, you can actually specify IPs and port numbers if you know a specific thing. Let's say you do like a netstat dash ANLP, and like you see all the connections. Hold on, let me redo that, and then pipe it less. Um, and you see you have some sort of connection, you know, that's established and you don't want it. Obviously, I'm not connected to anything because this is a VM that I like just launched and it's not a server and there's no one connected to me. by SSH or anything. So there's only me. But sometimes, if you have a VNC server, you have something else running, especially in competitions. You might have several people connected to one machine. It's good to keep track, especially if there's a red team. There's always going to be someone trying to get into your machine. So this is how you keep track of who's on your machine. You can also do who or W, and that'll tell you who's on your machine, and so it's saying the user Cali, and when they logged in, and if they're idle or whatever. So there's a few other tools like that, but um, and I mean that's generally what you're going to be doing. So you can set up a script to see, like type W, see who's on your machine. Which users are on. Are there supposed to be more than one user? If there are more users who logged in first, when you might want to like store that in a log or something. You might want to block that IP address because you can see the user if they're remoted in through this netstat. So you're going to be using several tools when you're looking at firewalls and other network analysis. Um, so I think that's all for Linux. I love Linux. There's also Windows Firewall. I'm not sure I can even open Windows Firewall on my own Windows, but let's see what we can have. Okay, well it's off. So let's use recommended settings. That's always what you do as soon as you log in and check your firewall status, of course. Mine was probably off for gaming or some other reasons. I host servers and I don't know, but it should always be um, on basically all of your devices. Um, and then we can go into advanced firewall, of course. Let's see advanced, and where we go here is you go into to you need to create policies. So let's see where we create policies. Inbound rules, yeah, inbound rules, and outbound rules, right? So outbound is you going out. You don't need to worry about this too much, unless you have a server. Again, inbound rules generally, as you can see, I have so many games for inbound rules. All these games, they ask permission for the servers to send you information and for you to send information back to them, right? So um, I know it's a bit. There might be some personal stuff here, so I don't want to show you all of it, but definitely games, um, and whatever have you. Make sure you check this from time to time. I just smacked my mic. I don't know if that's gonna carry over. I apologize if it does. And if you create a rule, you can choose a program, the port, you choose everything. So it walks you through it. It's Windows. It's very strict. There's not much to it. You'll be creating mostly probably inbound rules again with the netstat. If I bring up not sorry, what was it CMD? Yeah. Pardon my colors. I used to think this was cool, but it's just not. It just hurts your eyes. But netstat, and then on Windows you do ANA, and okay, thank you. And you scroll all the way up, and you look like here, And obviously I have more things on my Windows because I use it. It's my main computer, so this is just a bunch of stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, this again, it's basically the same steps you do. It's just a bit more complicated. I don't enjoy Windows because there's so many background processes and like you don't know really what everything is. Whereas Linux, it's very straightforward. If you want to figure out what everything is, you can. Windows is proprietary stuff. They don't even disclose everything, so it's not cool. This is open source, so you get to learn everything about your computer. If you want to get into firewalls, I'd recommend Linux. There might be better programs for Windows, and this, of course, is endpoint firewalls, right? So this isn't even starting with Barracuda and like all of those advanced physical devices, because you have this stuff which is software firewalls, uh, and then you have the actual physical device that you might put before a router. So if you're looking topologically, you'd have the cloud, you'd have your firewall, you'd have your router, and then you'd have maybe a hub, and then you'd have a firewall before your server, and then not a hub, why would I say a hub, a switch, or whatever, a switch router as they have these days, whatever. You have one of those, and then you have a firewall, and then that's your like DMZ, and so that goes to your server, and then you'd have like maybe you don't necessarily need another firewall for like your employees like work computers, but if you want to, you can, and that can be its own little section. If you're drawing like a little map of the network. Um, but yeah, I mean that's my lesson on firewalls. I don't have any advanced configurations, but I think another great thing to look at is Cisco Packet Tracer. So let's actually see if I have it. If I don't, it's unfortunate. Okay, what have I type in Cisco? In the apps, please. No? Alright, well, I'll make a second video with that, and we'll see.